In the last 5 years, recorders like the Zoom H2 and H4 are just brilliant little machines. Edirol's got one, M-Audio has got one, Sony, all of the big makers have manufactured these things. Most of them have built-in microphones, and most of them use SD flash cards for storing the audio. These recorders are specifically designed to be taken to the audio source for the convenience of the recording and away from the studio environment. Like I said, most of them have built-in microphones, and the built-in microphones are very good with all these units. However, a lot of them have the ability to accept other microphones. You can plug them in, and that gives you the ability to take specific microphones that might suit the needs of your specific situation. Like I said, some lapel mics might be more suitable. You might even want to have a pair of desk mics in front of the person and yourself. Some of these units even have phantom power, which allow you to be able to power the microphones if they are not the sort of microphones that are self-powered. That gives you the advantage of being able to have minimal equipment yet again to be able to use them. Very good little units, incredibly, I personally think, brilliant value. Now, the cost of these units can vary. You can pick them up for maybe, say, $150 for a nice little unit, a decent basic unit, all the way through to, may I say, $1,000. That's the price range that they appear in. And depending on your situations, depends on what you're after. I personally swear by my Zoom H4 that I have, and I think the H4N that has been released in the last 12 months, it would be a tremendous unit as well. But many of these machines are very, very good, and it's up to you to decide, and there are plenty of reviews, and I'll link to a few of them on the site. It's up to you to decide what suits your situation and what suits your needs. For the type of podcasting I do, I swear by having a portable recorder because it gives me the ability to go to them and very easily travel and take my equipment with me and use it in their environment. That convenience is worth a great deal to me. I know other podcasters who will travel with a laptop and a microphone and they will record that way. That's fine too, but I find that a little bit cumbersome for my situation. But if you're only going to be doing a couple of these, maybe it's not as big a deal and a computer with a microphone is all you need. Again, it's up to you to decide. The third thing that's worth considering is MP3 players. There are some MP3 players out there nowadays that have built-in recorders. I know that you can get some incredibly cheap MP3 players out there, and it's worth looking at these. It's worth investigating the quality of them to see what they're like. I've got a sample of one here for you to listen to, and you can decide what you think. Now, this is a particularly cheap little unit. I bought this to put some MP3s on as a giveaway, so I didn't want to spend a lot of money on the actual unit, and I just wanted to be able to put the MP3s on it for somebody else to listen to and throw it their way. And then I discovered that it's got a recorder in it, and you can have a listen to what the quality of this recorder is like. This is the little MP3. For about $25 I picked this up. You can tell by the quality of it, even though I'm speaking directly into it, and it's only about 3 inches, about 100 millimeters, about 10 centimeters from my mouth. It's a very woolly sound, isn't it? It's not at all clear. It's not what you're used to hearing from me. And frankly, it's just, I don't think, good enough. It could be suitable for somebody if they're in a really desperate situation. But I think there are much better systems out there for very cost-effective means that will enable you to be able to get a better audio quality than this. Now, I'm speaking directly into this and I'm holding it right up to me. But if this was to be moved further away from me like I am now, it's now about 2 feet, about 60 centimeters away from me. It'd be very difficult to push this sound up without the bass sound in the background coming up and being quite overwhelming and noisy. Just bringing it up closer to my mouth now. The microphone in this is only a cheapie. The whole device is only a cheap device, and it's really designed to only be used as a bit of a note-taking unit rather than a serious recorder. I wouldn't recommend this unit. However, you might find some other MP3 players out there that are quite suitable and definitely worth looking into and investigating. It'd be worth having a trial of different systems to see how they work. Like I said, not very good, is it? But that doesn't mean that there aren't some MP3 players out there that do have good quality microphones and recording ability. It's worth looking into it. In doing my research, the big surprise I had was the quality of mobile phones. It's worth looking at your mobile phone and seeing what quality microphone and what sort of recorder might be built into it. A lot of the better quality, and definitely the smartphones, have built-in audio recorders that are surprisingly good. I've got a sample here of just quick audio that I did with my iPhone that's worth having a listen to. See what you think of this.
This is now using the iPhone. As you might notice, that the sound quality is quite good. For a phone, that is. It certainly doesn't sound like the old-fashioned phones of days gone by. Now, I'm speaking directly into the microphone that is at the bottom of the phone, so that the clarity is a lot better. If I was to move it around, you would notice quite a bit of difference, but I'm not going to do that. With using something like an iPhone, I think you need to have a lot of discipline to use it correctly and have it situated in one specific place. I've only got it about 3 inches, about 10 centimetres away from my mouth, and I'm speaking quite specifically into it. This would be a good situation for where one person is using it, just recording information. Maybe put it on a stand, pile of books or something, and make it quite comfortable. If it was being used with 2 people, you'd have to speak a little bit off mic, and the sound for one person would sound like this. I've now just turned it a little bit so that I'm speaking past the bottom of the iPhone, and if there were 2 people speaking, we'd be both speaking towards each other, coming from either sides of the iPhone. However, we might have to be quite a distance away from each other, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to place it about a foot away from me now, about 30 centimetres away from me. So it'd be sounding a bit like this. In situations like this, because my voice is quite a bit lower, because the microphone is further away from me, it'd be necessary to push the gain, the volume of the sound up, and as you might notice, you can hear a little bit of the background noise come with it. That's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. And if you speak a lot closer like I am right now, as I've moved it closer to me, you don't have to push the background noise up with the volume in order to have the volume at a decent listening level. So that's the iPhone. You can tell it's quite good, it's quite clear. And there are also, I noticed, some apps in the App Store for other types of iPhone recorders, which would be worth looking into. I think I'll look into one of those in due course.
Like I said, pretty good, isn't it? Now, that's just with the standard application. I didn't download the specific application that I mentioned there. I just used the standard application, and with a bit of tweaking in the background with the editing, that would come up a treat. It may not be suitable for every situation. Again, it depends on the physical circumstances in which you're going to use it and the environment, but it's definitely worth looking at. In time, I'm going to have a look at some other mobile phones, and we're going to have a look at the different audio quality that we can get out of them, but that'll come in sometime in the future. That just gives you a bit of an idea what it is like. Something that a lot of people wouldn't consider is things like your cameras. Have you got a video camera? Have you got a still camera? Do they have an audio recorder built into them? Maybe they have. I know my still camera has an audio recorder built into it. Unfortunately, it only records 60-second grabs, so it's more or less a note taker for some of the images that you might be taking. Not really suitable for doing a long conversational type recording. But there might be some others out there that do have the ability to record much longer audio. Video cameras, on the other hand, are definitely designed for recording long passages of data. Unfortunately, you're going to also be recording the video at the same time, even if you put the lens cap on. But that's not a great drama. After you've recorded, what you can do is import the files, drop them into a video editing program where you can just split the video and the audio apart and transfer the audio across to your audio editing software. Then you just discard the video. It's unnecessary. You were only after the audio. That might work also. A lot of people have video cameras, but they don't have audio recorders, so it's definitely worth considering. A lot of them also have the ability to take microphones as well. So if you're particularly interested in getting high quality audio, grabbing a microphone and then plugging that in might work exceptionally well also. Number 6 on my little list here is you may not even have to worry about getting the equipment yourself or looking around home. You might be able to grab it from your local community. A lot of libraries have things like audio recorders that can be hired, or universities. I know my oral history club in the local area here, if you're a member, and I think membership's $40 per year, you can utilise their equipment and just grab it and hire it. And the hiring is free, which is, I think, exceptionally good value. Many of these organisations have this equipment just lying around and you might as well utilise it as well.